This week we're in Rockport, Texas, and we're fishing with Captain Dylan Mendoza. Now, Dylan's main focus is fly fishing, but because the wind's going to be blowing somewhere between 20 and 30 miles an hour, we opted for light tackle. When you drive through the city of Rockport, the first thing you notice is that most of the trees kind of grow like this. That is how consistent and how strong the winds are here on, I'm telling you, a regular basis. But oh no, we picked the week when it wanted to triple that number. I mean, it is blowing hard. In fact, I thought we might have to wave it off, but Dylan said, come on, we can do this. Good morning, Dylan.
Good morning, CA. Good to see you, man.
I'll tell you what, my introduction to Rockport coming across the bridge was a lot of big white caps. So what do you got in mind for us today? Because this is a small boat, so we've got to be protected somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got, the largest barrier island here in Texas, and that offers enough protection for us to get out even on these windy days.
We're going to test that theory today.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna do our best at least. I've got my rain jacket, and I know you brought your bibs.
Well, you want to load up here, or you want to just load up when we get to the marina?
We'll load up when we get to the marina.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to follow you.
Sounds great.
All right.
Here in Rockport specifically, I really enjoy, first and foremost, the amount of shallow water flats that we have here. We've got acres and acres of flats that are all, ankle to shin deep water.
So Dylan, you got us back into these little lakes, and not the best sight fishing conditions, but what are we gonna do?
We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna look for anything that gives them away. It can be a flash, it could be some type of swirl on the surface where we're seeing them moving.
All the years that I've been doing this, I can tell you what works for me. When you get conditions like this and you still got someone that can see them really well,
yeah,
you can catch them.
That's right.
Because if it was bright and sunny, the shadow of the lure, everything spooks them.
Absolutely.
But a day like today, you could whack them.
Oh yeah, this is what separates the men from the boys right here.
You could whack them.
He's looking for it. Here he comes. He's on it. Nice job, buddy.
Gotta love that, huh, dude?
Heck yeah, man. I was like, oh, he's
feeding
looking
them
for
to
it.
shrimp.
He's looking for it.
You make it their idea, they do it every time. Oh, and there's a great slot.
Yeah.
They come to the boat a lot faster on this gear.
There we are.
Yeah, look at that. Nice looking.
One, bud.
Just a simple little shrimp imitator.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, and it just glides over, and if you quiver the tip, almost do a little shake,
right?
That tail just kind of just paddles over the grass. They hammer it.
You moved it pretty quick past it the first time, and that's what got him really
he turned around.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as you slowed it down, then he was hunting it then.
Yeah.
Typically, when you have the in and out clouds and high wind situations, you would fish larger, flashier baits to try to have more drawing power. But when you're fishing here around Port Aransas and some of the shallow bays that are adjacent to Port Aransas, it is so shallow that you do not have those options. You're basically having to throw sight fishing baits. So we decided to go with something that was very in line with Dylan's DNA and Texas itself, and we went and threw the bugs jigs, which in the end served us well.
Good stuff. I pull on this left side.
Another good fish.
Yeah, look how copper this guy is.
Here we are. Oh, what a nice looking fish.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Gotta love, ooh, Gotta love watching
got
those
some
things
energy.
swim away, man.
Good
Give
stuff.
someone else a chance to catch them.
That's right. That's right.
Interesting enough, the layout for this area is very similar to certain areas of Florida. In particular, Mosquito Lagoon. In fact, it reminds me so much of Mosquito Lagoon. If you were to blindfold me and drop me here, I would swear I'm fishing Mosquito Lagoon. Super ultra skinny flats, fish that pile up and tail everywhere. Lots of opportunities with marsh and mangroves. It's really a cool fishery, and when you're fishing so shallow, even if the water is stained in some of the deeper areas of this basin, up in the shallows, the water is virtually crystal clear. You can see everything.
It doesn't matter.
I just kept this one up real high. And
Yeah, swung on top of him.
yeah,
Yeah,
kept it up super high.
yeah. Good stuff.
Bug's jig is definitely what they're wanting.
Yeah,
So the Texas rig,
right. It's a larger fish. Larger fish.
oh yeah, much bigger.
Good one. Nice shot, man.
And right in the maw perfectly.
Yeah, right?
Right in the
Pretty
chin
little
bone.
guy.
Right in the chin bone.
Oh, what do you know?
You kidding me? That's how important it is to keep it tight the whole time.
That's right. Ready to go, CA? Nice
Now,
shot, man.
I'll tell you what, the wind is getting the best of us at times, but at other times, we're able to make it happen.
Yeah,
that time we were just playing that big loop in the wind and rolling that jig up high. As long as it was up high and it didn't get down below them, they weren't spooked. It seems
Right.
like they're just flushing little grass shrimp out of the grass and just eating them in the mid-column.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you notice when you get in these little back lakes, is how much grass there is, and the way the wind was blowing, it was filling up some of the marsh. The first thing I thought, I have to Texas rig, I have to put a bullet weight on, I gotta fish something that I can throw up in the edges and I can work where I'm making bottom contact, because that's how we usually catch redfish. I did catch a redfish or hooked a couple after that doing that Z-Man Easy shrimp, but I was spooking a lot of fish because that bait was staying tight to the bottom, and when you got close to those groups of fish, that leader would touch them and they would just freak out, and I was busting the schools up. And Dylan said, hey, you know, I'm used to fly fishing these groups and that fly line stays up high. If you pull a jig over the top of them where we don't leader them, they'll come up and they'll just smash it. So quickly cut off the easy shrimp, throw it in the bottom of the cockpit, tie on a Bug's jig, throw it out there, lead the next group, reel it up to them and lift the line so that Bug's jig kind of crawls over the top of them. And it was like magic. You'd see one of them lift his head up, like periscope up, and run it out of the school, chase it all the way out of the school, almost halfway back to the boat, and eat it. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch him.
There he is. Yeah, baby. Love it when you're tracking down one school and you run into another one.
No doubt. What color?
Yeah, super copper.
What color?
All right, doing my job.
That's all right. That is the Bug's jig. That's the hothead. It looks just like a shrimp. It's got a little bit of a hackle to it. It's a lot like fly. It's the closest thing you're coming to fly fishing, that's for
absolutely.
sure. Doing this stuff. Woo! Unbelievable. In my opinion, this is the best way to attack this. Texas rigging with some soft plastics like those Z-Man Easy shrimp and throwing the Bug's jig where you can sight fish, especially when the burn off finally happened.
Sure.
I don't think it gets any better than that. It's always a big challenge when you have conditions that seem that adverse against the guide and the angler. You know, you've got the wind, you've got the low light. It's making boat positioning challenging. It's making presentations challenging. But it was just amazing. As that stuff started burning off after lunch and we got some sunshine, even though we still had all those same challenges, except for the low light, and we had bright light where we could see them further away, and we had more time to react, to set up the right way, get the jig just perfect. It was like we could do no wrong. It went from, wow, this is really hard, to, holy cow, this is an advantage for us to catch fish this way. It was like a switch.
They're on it. He's on it. Man, he was hunting that thing down.
Man, he came out of that group so fast. Unbelievable. I mean, he was out of there.
Right in front of us.
Unbelievable. Every one of these fish have been really good sized fish. Whoa, buddy.
The tenacity.
Wow, I mean, that fish was determined. He was digging it. He wanted a bug's jig. He wanted one bad. I'm not gonna interrupt this dinner too much. There he goes.
It's becoming an arcade game at this point.
Wow. Honestly, it's like you were pushing along and I saw a red mat and I'm like, man, that looks like it could be fish. And I saw one tail like wash the surface and I was like, that's them. that is them. I have fished different areas of Texas before where the birds become your friend. They're like helpers, but normally they're in big bays where you have slicks and muds and they're dipping on shrimp and the fish are kind of boiling underneath them. This was something a little bit different. This was groups of tailing and schooling redfish that would have like one single gull or one single turn over the top of them. And these reds would work the bottom and these little ghost shrimp or brown shrimp were popping on the surface trying to escape, 100 mouths of these redfish. And they would just come down and they would dip up a shrimp every once in a while. I'd be focused on looking for fish in the zone in front of me, and Dylan would say, there's a big group and they're up there like 100 yards, and I'm looking and I'm like, I can't see anything that far away. And he's looking at the bird, and then he's looking at these subtle sprays of water where the tails are just like slapping in the wind, and the wind picks the water up and carries it through the air. And after you really tune into that, those birds turn into bird dogs.
Man, that's a big school. Yeah, that's a big school.
Oh,
How
yeah.
far is that?
This one's a good one. He's staying with the school. You've been showing this zone off. It is unbelievable how solid it's been. That first fish came running out of the school chasing that bugs.
He brought some of them with him,
and he started breaking the school up. I threw behind the school again and just reeled it up high, and it started sailing over. Another one lifted up and felt it and hit it. Wow, look how fat this one is. Unbelievable. What a fish. Wow, just what a fish.
Good stuff, man. Making my job
That's one of the
easy.
better looking ones we've had today.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I started guiding here just solely based on an intuition that just drove me to this place. I started coming here with my family as a kid, and I guess that saltwater experience early on, really stuck with me. How that all translated to, becoming an adult and being a fly fishing guide here is just purely out of what I believe is what was meant to be. It's not something that I think was a choice by any means. It was almost like it was just what I was supposed to do. As the day progressed, the tide started falling out, and my decisions had to get a little bit more detailed. And I was stuck with a decision. Do I go north? Do I go south? And I even left it up to CA, and I was like, hey man, we could go this way or we can go that way. And he sits there and he goes, just go with your gut. We went to our last spot and it was a knockout. It was a home run. I mean, I don't know how many pods we ran into. There was birds all over the place, tails all over the place. It was just a great way to cap off an awesome day.
And that looks kind of red out there too. Right there, that's them, that's them, that's them.
There he is, nice.
Whoa.
Man, the IQ of that, how that went down.
Man, unbelievable, that was awesome.
The way you ignored the fish close to the boat.
Yeah, because I knew the chance of catching that one was going to be low.
Exactly. Everybody would have went for that
one. Went for the back edge.
Everybody would have went for that close fish. That would have blew the whole thing. Man, he smoked that jig. Look at him, he's still hot.
The hot fish. Just got to get him in the right momentum, going in the right direction. That's like a rod swing in the Bassmasters. Jig. Look at that little thing. Who would have guessed?
Right.
They had to have something that small.
And it's still good for another 20 fish.
And I'm blaming you because you're a fly guy. You're a fly guy, so you look for fish that eat small things.
That's right.
Can't throw the big baits here. Got to throw the little ones. Wow, so cool.
This one's pretty bleached out.
He is.
He spends a lot of time in shallow water. He makes his living in it.
Yeah. Almost to us.
Found him. Nice.
Wow.
How about that for an eat?
How's that?
How about that for an eat?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And he's running out of the school. He's doing exactly what I'd love him to do.
Yeah.
Getting out of Dodge.
Yeah, the school is still together.
Yeah.
They're tailing behind
We
us.
just cut him from the herd. Here, I'm just gonna walk him to this side, and that way you don't gotta fight the wind as hard.
Nice fish. Look at him cooperate for
Another
us.
great looking fish.
Nice job, man.
Man.
It's fun when they're doing what they're supposed to.
When they're doing what they want to do, you get the tide just right, and they're aggressive.
Yep.
That little jig has just been magic.
Excellent job.
Tight work. Tight work.
Whew. All right, man. Way to wrap up a day.
Dylan, you showed us a fantastic time today.
Thank you.
I mean, you showed what Texas and the whole Rockport zone is all about. It's all about the sight fishing.
It's been my pleasure, man.
And I got a new respect of what a Hells Bay waterman will do.
Right?
Tell you what, there's not too many crazy guides that would risk life and limb and come out on a day when it's a solid 20
Every
all
bit.
day long.
Yeah.
Not only to get here, but then to pull in it all day long. Amazing, just amazing. All right, as you know, Captain Dylan Mendoza is primarily a fly fishing guide. So in that same vein, we decided to use Bugs jigs. There were two Bugs jigs that we leveraged the most, the Beastie Bug and the Hothead jig. Both of these are similar in nature because they mimic crustacean patterns. But one is an 1/8 ounce that we were throwing, while the other was a 1/4 ounce. So here's the setups that we threw them on that did all the work, all the heavy lifting for us. Okay, the first one is my casting setup. This is one of my favorite setups that we have at Fitzgerald. This is the medium 7'3" rod. It's more of a moderate action. It's in their all-purpose series. I mated that up with the Bates Hundo 100. This is a fantastic reel. It's turned out to be actually my favorite reel of all the Bates lineup. I've got 30-pound diamond braid packed on here, and then I've got about 4 feet of 20-pound leader. This is Diamond Illusion leader. And then here's what's on the business end. It is the actual Beastie Bug. Nice big hook, heavy duty weed guard, always, you know, breathing even when it's not moving. Now, let's move over to the lighter rod that I was using. This is my spinning rod setup. This is the Fitzgerald, this is the Aqua Dream 7'2" medium. This is another moderate action rod. I've actually mated this one up with a 3000 Vanford. On the 3000 Vanford, I actually have 8-pound diamond braid. This is a new product that just got released. The 8-pound diamond braid. I have another 4-foot section of 20-pound leader. And attached to that business end is the actual hot heads. It's got a little bit of a shrimpy look to it with a little hackle, super light. I can float it over the top of those groups of redfish and they just lift their head up and pop it. It's a great shrimp imitator. But these two rods, these two setups really provided all the positive action that we needed today, even in challenging conditions. All right, big thanks goes out to Captain Dylan Mendoza for making this happen in some challenging conditions. And even bigger thanks goes to Diego, our camera boat operator, who had to push both cameramen and all the gear around and try to keep up with us in that wind. That was huge, I mean really huge. And another thank you out there to Hell's Bay Boat Works, who actually orchestrated this whole trip so that we could get out here and fish with these guys. So for me, it was a great trip out here to Texas. Hadn't been out here in so long. I just loved it, and probably is going to generate another opportunity here in the near future. Really appreciate all those that made this happen, because you don't get out here and have this type of success in these type of conditions without a little help.